Hi everyone, welcome to Blockbuster Living. Today is a collaboration with Heidi from Boy Boss Mama, Lindsay from Mama Schmooze Reviews, and Ryan from Mom on a Mission. And I'm Shalise, and thank you for stopping by. Today's collaboration is about the different styles of homeschooling. Heidi approached us and asked if we wanted to share with you all why we have this approach to our homeschool, how it fits with us, a little bit about it, so that as you're trying to research ideas for your homeschool curriculum and all of that, you kind of have a basic idea of if this would fit for your family. I have been approached to share from a Charlotte Mason perspective. Charlotte Mason was a teacher back in the late 1800s, and what she did was she observed children. Not only that, she observed households and how children learn in environments, or atmosphere is what is commonly used in the Charlotte Mason vocabulary, and just how a lot of daily components can make up an enriching childhood and life education. Her methods, which is what we tend to call them, were pretty much centered around a few main components, a few of them being creating a feast of ideas rather than just focusing on, let's say, STEM, since that's a big one for today, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. You would actually approach it with a feast. So you would cover those, but you would also cover the arts, classics, the just simple enjoyment of pure reading, and many other things, and so that you would have this wide variety so that your child could learn more about himself and what he possesses. It's interesting to me how many people I have talked about as an adult that realizes that they weren't exposed to some things as a kid and they have really enjoyed these things as an adult, and so that is one of the ideas behind this Feast of Ideas, is that you can kind of be more well-rounded and learn your passion, and using the time that you have after your short lessons, which is another Charlotte Mason principle, to kind of hone in on those things that you are more passionate and interested in. Charlotte Mason also, instead of focusing on dry textbook information, she really wanted living books to be the pillar of learning. So, and it's good quality literature. So a lot of times the textbooks, it's more about just putting the information out there. A living book shows how that would work in a day-to-day world. An example would be a textbook explaining King lived this time from this day to this day. I'm trying to think of an example. The one that I personally think of is in Railway Children, where Bobby is kind of worried about her father be taking off, and she's like, I'm not really sure it matters. And her aunt is like, yes, recite. And she has to recite when these kings and queens lived, when they reigned, and she's just going on. Whereas in a Charlotte Mason idea, you would actually read more about their life, what their ideologies were, how they lived, how they ruled, and things like that. And then you would use a book of centuries, which I have not done, to kind of keep all of the dates in place and in your mind. Insofar as the science behind Charlotte Mason education, it's not just reading about it, but it's actually going out and being a part of the natural world. So a big component of hers is nature study, going out and observing nature, kind of looking and seeing how the world works at our fingertips and being out in there. And I like this idea because we tend to think of our world inside a 2,000 square foot box, right? Our homes, the heart of life, right? But the world is so much bigger. And when we go out and we start noticing how diverse the world is around us, we can start just realizing what a complex and amazing creator we have. There are so much more components to a Charlotte Mason program. Short lessons, I've talked about that, but habits are another one. And so living out good habits, and there's certain habits that you would learn by the time you were 6 and by the time you're 12 and by the time, you know, you're finished with school. And those habits make for a good character that then can grow forth and learn all of the other things because he has certain habits in place, like truthfulness and self-discipline and things like that, and so on and so forth. So these are all of the things that really, really drew me into Charlotte Mason. They're not exclusive to a Charlotte Mason education. I think many modern curriculums take her ideas and kind of fit them into their family, and more I've kind of been doing more of that. And so I have learned that many people like a pure view of it. So one of the things that Charlotte Mason has is no twaddle, and I am not of that mindset that Charlotte Mason would only put the best of the literature in front of their children. And I don't do all of the things, and I don't create a complete feast of ideas, and I don't do Plutarch and Shakespeare and all of the things that many purists of a Charlotte Mason education really hone in on. It's not that I don't want to, but I am also a mother of 5 children, 3 of them being boys, and I'm just kind of learning what works best for our family. And so what that looks like for us is books. A lot of our education is centered around books. Now I'm going to get too far, you know, into all the details, and I'm trying to just give you a broad idea because this is how I am homeschooling. Again, I have 3 boys, and they are not as avid readers as I am or my daughter is. One of the reasons why I have chosen Charlotte Mason for our family is when I started homeschooling, I actually was homeschooled as a child. I was homeschooled for my complete education. And it's a completely different thing to go from being homeschooled to actually homeschooling. And when I started homeschooling, I really wanted to get it done right. And I asked my mother-in-law to come over and help us, who was a public school, well, a private school teacher. And she had a way that she would open it, and it was very classroom, and how things were set up. And those times are invaluable, and I'm so grateful to her. But one of the things that I was noticing as I was trying to do more of that, and then we were getting workbooks, and it really hit me with spelling. Spelling is the one that it just clicked that this wasn't working. And I was noticing that my kids could maybe get these tests done, these worksheets done, but there was no retention to it. And that was very concerning to me. I didn't want them just to get the work done. I didn't want them just to get an A on anything. I wanted them to have a connection with what they were learning. And in my research, I was finding different things come up, like narration and dictation, and how a living education, which is kind of a big vocabulary word in the Charlotte Mason method, how these incorporated a lifetime of learning into small habits for our children today. And that's kind of where I went more into Charlotte Mason. I have been homeschooling for 7 or 8 years now. Don't ask me how long. I don't know. I get to a point where I don't remember it anymore. But that being said, I almost never remember my age anymore. So my daughter will be 14 this year. So I've been homeschooling since she was about 5. And with that, we had a lot of trial and error trying to get into a Charlotte Mason homeschool. And to be honest, we have never fully arrived, if you will. After trying several times of trying to incorporate more, we did end up going to Ambleside Online because it's free, and free has always been the thing that I can afford. The lesson plans are laid out, you just have to purchase the books. And that has been the thing that that has helped me most is how it's laid out. But it was also a huge stumbling block because I have never figured out, with everybody helping me and saying, well, look at this group and then look at this group and try to figure out the groups. It's never worked with having such a variety of students. I haven't figured out how to teach 2 groups and schedule things. And it's, as much as I love it, it's kind of also been a huge struggle and a big, sorry, I keep getting interrupted. That's the bane of this video. Always, all of my videos have interruptions in them and lost train of thoughts. But why I want to say that it still works for us is because, it doesn't focus on learn this information, take this test on it. Learn this information on it, take this test on it. For us, it's tell me what you have learned from it. And that is what narration is. It's telling back what you remember from something. And that is something that I have taken with me onto my adult years. Like when I read something, it's like, okay, what do I remember from that? And I think that's why I'll go back to fiction. I tend to retain more fiction than nonfiction. Nonfiction is honestly just so mind-boggling. So something like a Jean Stratton Porter book with all of her nature study works into it, I retain more than actually reading a book on botany. So trying to work this with our family has been a journey. And again, I've thought about trying to go differently, but to be honest, every time I try to do that, I just see so many red flags. I see my son's just like, okay, let's just get it done, check it off, okay, move on. So, and I don't want it to be that way. I don't want our learning to be about completing checklists so that we can do anything. It's definitely a part of it, but it shouldn't be a complete part of it. So if you're interested in more of a Charlotte Mason method, there is resources out there. They will be linked down in the description box below. For me, what I have been trying to focus on in this channel is showing that it doesn't necessarily come natural to a lot of people. There is a lot of things out there where people are just able to sit down and complete it to the best of their abilities. So the idea has been to stay here and kind of share with you my struggles, share with you some things that I have learned, and maybe hopefully you can take those. I'm trying to kill flies in the house. Maybe you can take those and kind of see how that would work with your family. There are experts out there and you can find those anywhere. Simply Charlotte Mason is one of them. I am always encouraged by the videos that they put out. But if I don't have on this channel here's how to do a Charlotte Mason program, I don't have that. I have, here's what we're trying to learn how to do and our struggles with it. And for the most part, those are my popular videos. The ones that I share why I love Charlotte Mason, what my struggles are with it, and all of that. So, I hope this video is helpful for you, kind of researching, kind of seeing, okay, this isn't for me. If this person is struggling with it, I need something more rigorous. I need more of a routine. I need more of a schedule. I need something that I can say that we've done. Then be sure to check out the description box. Maybe some of the other ladies that are sharing their school methods with you will be helpful for you. And thank you again for watching this video. And if you'd like to see more, go ahead and click subscribe. And I will catch those that are subscribed in my next video. Bye.